Welcome to Politics News Wolf US channel. The intensity of the war between Ukraine and Russia and the tension between the two countries are increasing day by day, with the successful attacks of the Ukrainian army deep into Russia and the regions enacted by Russia in Ukraine in last month of 2022. The fifth phase of the war has been entered. The Russian invaders carried out 68 jet rocket attacks in addition to 3 missile strike. 13 air strikes on the civilian infrastructure of Bemo, Kaka and Koko in the Donetsk region. Nikopol and Harrison from the Dnipropetrovsk region. There are casualties among the civilian population, but the numbers are not clear. The threat of Russian air and missile attacks throughout Ukraine. Berian troops continue to focus their efforts on conducting an offensive in the Bak. They saw no success in the ABK and regions in the directions of Novak, Apia, and Kherson. The Russians are in active defense, bombarding the positions of Ukrainian troops and civilian objects. Along the line of contact, the Ukrainian defense forces successfully repelled Russian attacks. In the Lu region as well as and in the Past. No signs of assault groups were detecting in Lisha and SL directions. 20 settlements in the Skan directions fell under Russian fire. These include and Kro in the region in the Luhan region. Maka and Brava came under fire from the invaders. More than 40 settlements were bombed in the directions. In particular, these are SKK and Noka of the Donetsk. Russian fire was recorded in the direction of Novopov near the settlements of Zalo, Niva, and Pikiva in the Donetsk region. Inia and Harrison directions, more than 45 settlements were affected by enemy fire. The settlements of Poltakake and of the Apia region, and the civilian infrastructure of S and Sadov were damaged by tanks motor in artillery. The forced integration of the temporarily occupied territories into the legal space of the Russian Federation continues. Thus, the duration of issuing a Russian passport in the city of PKA in the Donetsk region was reduced from 30 days to 10 days. In addition, Russian license plates and driver's licenses are issued in. The Ukrainian Air Force carried out 20 spectacular attacks on Russian clusters and 5 attacks on the positions of Russian anti-aircraft missile systems. Russian troops continue to deploy personnel, weapons, military equipment, and ammunition in conflict zones. In addition to rail transport, the Russians also use military and civil. Russian troops attack civilian objects 3 times with missiles in the town of Kok in the Donetsk region. The invaders also launched 9 air strikes and 14 MMLS strikes. On the Eastern Front, Ukrainian entire aircraft missile units destroy the Russian Su-25 attack aircraft, a Ki, A-52 attack helicopter and an OR-10 UAV. Ukrainian missile and artillery forces inflicted fire damage on 3 Russian checkpoints, 4 clusters, and 2 ammunition depots. On the other hand, the soldiers of the State Border Guard Service of Ukraine, together with the Army of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, repelled an enemy attack in the Bakhmut area and captured enemy positions in a counter-attack. During the battle, Ukrainian defenders killed 9 Russian soldiers and injured about 20 invaders. Russian invaders continued their attack on Bemo. In this 45 city, the units of the State Border Guard Service together with their comrades from the Ukrainian Defense Forces defended their positions until the last men under artillery fire. Russian attack aircraft tried to seize one of the forward positions of the Ukrainian defenders. The Ukrainian border guards awaited for the artillery attack in the bunkers and opened fire when the Russian infantry approached. As a result, the attempt to attack the Russian troops was unsuccessful. The Russian forces suffering losses began to flee. Seeing the invaders leaving in panic, the Ukrainian border guards counterattacked with the soldiers of Ukrainian armed forces where the swift attack, our fighters occupied the Russian positions, and the Russians continued to retreat. But this counterattack, the Ukrainian defense forces advanced 300 meters and secured their new. Thus, the Ukrainian army has eliminated approximately 109,720 Russian invaders of Veg 810 in one day since the beginning of the war in February 2022. Other Russian losses published by the Ukrainian General Staff include 3,044 main battle 6,110 armored combat vehicles, 2063 artillery systems, 428 multiple rocket launches, 215 air defense systems, 285 combat aircraft, 272 helicopters, 1,846. Operational and tactical level, unmanned aerial weak 723 sea missiles, 16 warships, cutters, 4,773 trucks and tankers, and 183 special equipment. On the other hand, Ukrainian President Zelensky stated, Russia plans to call in more troops for a major new offensive, even as Moscow faces some of its biggest internal criticism of the war over an attack that killed the large number of newly regretted soldiers. Russian soldiers were drunk on New Year's Eve. Many did not comply with the ban on using smartphones, the geographical location of the drunken Russian soldiers from the front, and their conversations with their families prepared there. For the Kremlin, this was an unacceptable mistake. The result of this mistake was very severe. The possible Russian casualties estimated by the Ukrainian General Staff are close to 800. There were also at least 3 Russian senior commanders at the military air base. The conversations and shares of the Russian soldiers on New Year's Eve brought their end. In fact, the Kremlin for the first time acknowledged the fiasco in the Russian army and accused its soldiers of indiscipline. In this case, the Russian soldiers present coordinates of their headquarters to the Ukrainian army, and we can say that the Russian soldiers actually blew up their headquarters. Kiev has said for weeks that Russian President Putin has planned to order a new mass conscription and close its borders to prevent men from fleeing the military. Zelensky say that we have no doubt that the current masters of Russia will throw out everything they can and anyone they can muster to try to turn the tide of the war and at least delay by the defeat. We must disrupt the Russian. We are preparing for this. Terrorists must lose. Any attempt at their new attack should fail. Russia's defense ministry blamed the use of mobile phones by its soldiers for the Ukrainian New Year's Eve attack, which it said killed 89 soldiers. If Russia's planning a new mobilization, the deaths of many soldiers on New Year's Eve could undermine morale. Hundreds of thousands of men fled Russia when Putin ordered the call of reserve forces for the first time since World War II in September following military failures. Putin said last month that there is no need for further mobilization. With the little that claims the Kremlin now represents the widows of Russian soldiers has issued a call to Putin to order a large-scale mobilization of millions. The Kremlin did not comment on this call. Russia effectively shut down all direct opposition to the war with open criticism prohibited by strict media rules. However, it has given relatively leeway to provo bloggers, some of whom have hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. Many are increasingly vocal about what they see as a half-hearted and inept. And this week they have expressed their anger at the attack that killed Russian troops at a vocational school in Donetsk province. On New Year's Eve, criticism was directed at military commanders rather than Putin, who did not make a public statement about the attack, raising the official death toll from 63 to 89 in the attack. The Russian Ministry of Defense accused the soldiers of using mobile phones legally, emphasizing that this led Ukraine to find the base and the twin city of Maka in the regional capital of Donetsk. Walker Pennant Samian Pigo, who was awarded by Putin, said the mobile phone statement seemed like a clear attempt to smear crime and that there were other ways Ukraine might have detected. Other pro-Russian bloggers said the attack got worse as ammunition was stored in the area, but Moscow has not officially confirmed. This PE stated that the death toll will increase even more and added the data released is almost likely for those who are immediately identified. The list of casualties is unfortunately much longer. This attack taught the Russian what it means to underestimate the Ukrainian army. Thank you for watching the video. If you find it useful, please comment and share the video for us. It will make our channel more known. See you in the following videos. Thank you very much.